Good morning. My name is Anne Rossley. I am here with my dear friend Kyle Harvey. It's Monday Morning Coffee with Kyle and Anne. And today we're very fortunate to have another wonderful colleague with us, Anne Bozarth. Anne is with Key Mortgage, and today is all about mortgages. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
It's good to see everybody. Last Monday in February, spring day.
We're about to hit March. Yay.
Crazy.
And before we go into the show, don't forget everybody who lives in Chicago, tomorrow's election day.
Oh, right.
Got to go vote, everybody.
Next Monday is Casimir Pulaski Day for people who celebrate in Chicago. Are we going to have a show on that holiday?
Well, I think we should.
I think we should.
As a good Polish woman myself, I'll be here with bells on.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, here we are. So, should I just jump in? Should we just jump into stats like we always do? All right. Here we go. All right. Because we're at the end of the month, I'm not going to talk about stuff we've already talked about. I just wanted to bring up the weekly snapshot. And we've got some pretty good things to talk about, everybody. In terms of closed listings, we knew that closed listings were going to be down this month and last month due to the fewer contracts that we had. But things are really starting to look up. Look at under contract. We have the highest number of properties under contract in the last week since back in August. 3212, and this is for all of the multiple listing service of our area, but looking up, still a little bit below the year before, but hey, positive news. New listings 4552, again below the previous year, but coming up. Look at this trend. We're trending.
Even the previous year they were low because of interest. Not because of interest rates, because so much had sold before. We were complaining last year, but still we're inching up. Yeah.
We are totally inching up. All right. In terms of inventory, this is active. Well, and the little yellow over here is temporarily off market, but again, trending up in terms of active listings, 35.9 properties on the market. And this is funky. You know, we talk about showings, and we talked about them in different ways. And this is the weird chart. This is the one that normalizes every year at 0 the first week of January. But January 2022 could be high, January 2020 could be low, but we all normalize to 0. What it basically shows you is a trend over a year, with this weird dip being COVID. We'll talk about showings. You know how I show showings per listing? Remember in January, we zipped up and we were like 6 showings per property in January, which was higher than 3 the month before. So very strong. Okay. Sold price, pretty, we're not seeing stable, baby. All right. So then I took our hot sheet and I did attached. And this is for the 28 days. I did this morning, bright and early. So new properties, and this is the lakefront communities, okay? So this is not all of Chicago. This is not all of Emerald. This is just in our little area of the world. 1,482 new condos went on the market in February. 1,000 went under contract, and 531 closed. But again, look at the number in private.
And the number one private is high because people are using the private to get into, they get their properties ready. I have a property that it didn't even make it to private. I let it be known out there on TAN and through my network that I had something coming. It's going right into contingent because things are selling so quickly.
Right. We took 400 Ontario off the market, put it in private, and it sold off the private network. So, every agent who's any good out there right now is showing their clients both private and active as they're looking in the marketplace. But this is a nice, healthy relationship between new and sold.
Really healthy.
Yep.
And then inventory, which is so bizarre right now, but this cracked me up. I had to show you the statistic. This is a total example of why statistics are baloneyville. Only 2.1 months of inventory, but it's up 40% from previous year because
There was nothing last year.
it was nothing last year. All right, here's single family homes.
Mhm.
New 160,
Wow.
under contract 109, and 77 private.
Going fast.
They're
And those
going,
privates are soon going to be new. If they're not sold off the private network, it's going to go fast.
yeah.
It's amazing.
And inventory here, 2.3.
Mm.
So that's it. That's
Oh.
what I know.
Yeah. So people use the private network really to get things get things ready to be on the active network, but they also use it when a property last fall, for example, and I did this, a property didn't sell fast. So we went to the private network to reset the clock so that we could come back on the market with low market time again. So that's one reason why people use the private network, is so that people don't think there's something wrong with the property because it's not it hasn't sold in a week or 10 days or something like that. So,
And let me make one last comment. If you get in touch with Kyle or me, we can get you on Zenlist or one of the other methods for you to see private listings. So you're not even beholden to us realtors. You can see it just as if it's an active if you just get into the right system, which is very simple to do. Yeah. So don't be left out, people. Reach out to us and let's get you going on seeing properties. All right. We ready to talk mortgages? Let's talk mortgages.
I'm ready.
So Carol Ann, did we introduce Carol Ann?
Not with all her qualifications. Kyle, go ahead.
I don't know all of her qualifications, but she has many. She's one of my go-to mortgage brokers with Key Mortgage, which is the Baird Warner mortgage brokerage service, and helps my clients from just the learning process all the way through to closing and stays in contact afterwards. One of the great reasons why Anne and I are successful.
Well, and the other thing too is because we work with Carol Ann because she gives the kind of service that Kyle and I demand in our partners. And so, as you said, it's not just getting a loan. It's not just shopping a rate. There is so much more to getting a home loan than a rate. And Carol Ann is our gal. So, Carol Ann.
Thank you guys so much.
Oh, we're glad to have you with us. Talk to us about rates today. Everybody always says where are rates. We'll talk about that and then we'll get in the rest.
Yeah, where are rates? We'll spend just a few seconds on rates here. Rates have been ticking up last 3 weeks. So we don't love to hear that. But again, we are not having huge swings. We are ticking up an eighth and eighth. So of course, with rates, that's like a loaded question because is it a condo? Is it a single family? It's different. So rates are a little bit over 7, maybe a 6.875 if it's a single family home. Sorry here, I just lost you guys.
We see you.
You can see me? Okay.
Oh yeah, keep going. You're on, baby.
Okay. All right, great. I couldn't see myself, which is a little weird. So rates have ticked up a little bit, but again, historically still low, still a great time to buy. As I like to say, you date your rate and you marry your home. So I'm educating clients about why the interest rates of today should not keep you from renting or keep you, the fear of the interest rate. I like to educate my clients and let them know, even when the rates go up an eighth, what does that really mean for you and your monthly payment? So
that's why it's more important than ever to have a lender that you can ask these questions to, because it's not just like there's one rate. When I got in the business, I would pre-qualify the clients because it was a straight 28-36 ratio on debt, and the rate was the rate on a fixed rate. Now there are credit score things. There's, different programs. There are down payment assistance programs. More than ever, it's important to really work the system.
Right. Exactly. Yep. And as you guys know, and I'll say this up front, having a mortgage consultation is one of my favorite things to do. That's really an education. That's taking a client, talking about all the different programs, what's the best fit for them, is now the right time to buy, going through all their finances, and that's something that it's never too early for a mortgage consultation. There's no commitment. There's no, sometimes the answer is now's not the right time, and that's okay. But how do I help that client? How do I help my real estate agent partners turn that potential buyer into a buyer? I work with them for that next year, potentially, to help them figure out how, when is going to be the right time to buy. But I know we wanted to talk about credit scores today. We're good to go on that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things about, how do we help potential buyers become buyers? Sometimes the credit score is an issue. And so we all know that. You okay over there, Kyle?
No.
We all know that, it's good to have a good credit score, right? Everybody, wants to have a good credit score. But what first of all, is a good credit score? And why is a good credit score important when you are looking to purchase a home? So first of all, let's talk about what does the credit score, how does it impact you and your mortgage and your potential purchasing power? There's two main areas that the credit score impacts. That's obviously your interest rate. I think most people do know that. And then also your mortgage insurance if you are putting down less than 20%. And we're not going to spend a ton of time on mortgage insurance, but just so people do know, mortgage insurance used to have a very bad reputation because it stayed with you for the life of the loan and it was very costly. That is no longer the case. Mortgage insurance is very affordable, especially if you have a good credit score. And I'm going to talk more about that. And it no longer stays with you for the life of the loan. When you reach that 20% down, the mortgage insurance falls off. So let's talk about how does the credit score impact? Obviously, the better credit score, the lower the interest rate, and the better the credit score, the lower the mortgage insurance. So credit scores, interestingly enough, it used to be that 740 was the top, and everybody who had above a 740 was in the same tier. So it didn't matter if you had a 740 or 780. They have just recently changed and added 2 more levels. So there's now 740 to 760, 760 to 780, and 780 is the new top. So everybody above 780 has the top tier. And so obviously, the higher the score, you've got the lower the interest rate. And same with the mortgage insurance, it's going to be a lot less expensive. So I want to just give you a scenario so that we can talk about apples to apples. All right. So I have a client on a $600,000 purchase price and a 5% down payment. Okay. The credit score 689. So any credit score below 700 is going to add some challenges for you as a buyer. So in this particular client situation with the 689 credit score, the interest rate was 7.625 and the mortgage insurance was $256 a month. Now, if I take that same scenario, the same loan amount, the same purchase price, and I have a client with a score of 740, the interest rate is 7 and the mortgage insurance is $150 a month. Exactly. And that translates to $340 a month lower in their payment. That's a big chunk right there. So that's just an example of how, and for you guys as real estate agents, right? Purchase power, like how much can a person, qualify for, how much can they afford? In that scenario, $340 extra a month, that might bump them up, right, to another purchase price. So it really is important. It really does matter. And I wanted to talk about and give you guys an example today and show you in the dollar amount how important and that this is.
Carol Ann, when you have consultations with your clients, do you give them access to tools to help them improve their credit scores? There are all sorts of programs that can help you do it, because the idea, well, just improve your credit score. How do I do that? What do you tell people?
Yes. So, and the interesting thing, and why, this is, I would say, one of my strengths, like one of the things I really enjoy, like educating people about this, because as we know, in when you're purchasing a home, we know how important this credit score is, and people are sometimes, they're doing the wrong things. And so I will sit down with them and I will talk to them and analyze their credit. Why is the score low? So let's talk about that, right? Because some people are not aware of why their score is low. Okay, so the obvious reasons are late payments. We all know that. If you have a late payment, your score is going to drop. But the other reason that I often see clients have a low score is because their utilization is too high, meaning that they have a credit balance, a credit limit of, just say, let's say $20,000, and their balance is $18,000. They have very little room in their utilization. So across the board, I can look at somebody's credit report and say, and kind of look at it and analyze it and give them steps. Here's how you can improve it. And I'm going to give you like a great little tip about utilization that I love, that my clients are always like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I never thought of that. But of course you haven't, because you're not really thinking about this and you don't understand why your credit score is low. But assuming that you're a good paying client to Capital One, you don't have any late payments, and your credit limit is $20,000, and you have this higher balance. One of the ways to improve that is to call Capital One and ask them to increase your limit. And right there, in doing that, without having to make extra payments, and you've increased your utilization, because now your credit limit is $40,000 and you only owe $18,000. Very simple. And most people are like, I never thought to call my credit card and ask for more credit. And it really doesn't become relevant until you're buying a home. So
that's an interesting point. Wow.
That's one little tip. Now we at Key Mortgage have sometimes people's credit, looking at somebody's credit report. It's not always easy, and I can't just eyeball it. So we have a tool called the What If Simulator. And the What If Simulator allows me to take somebody's credit report and to actually play with it, in the sense that I can pretend this account that has now a zero balance, this account is closed. This account now only has $1,000 balance. And each time I play with the different trade lines, it will give me a potential score improvement. So it will show me, if the credit score is now 702 and I pay this one card off, it will show me the potential that I will get out of the score by paying that off. Because the other thing is that, and why I like to do this for certain clients, is because just doing, paying this or that, can sometimes not give you the score improvement. It's very interesting and a bit tricky sometimes to figure out what's going to be the best way to get that score up. So this is a great tool that I use with my clients that I love, that gives a more precise, and we're trying to turn this person into a buyer fast, right? So let's figure it out, rather than, making payments for several months and not seeing that score improve.
Now, you had a situation recently, didn't you, where the buyers did not come to you early and they had an issue that affected all of this?
Yes.
Right?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about this. Okay. So this client, the real estate agent gave them my name and number, and they didn't call me right away. And they didn't call me until they started looking. They were just getting ready, or they were starting to look at properties. And of course, you guys as agents, you would have no idea if somebody has a credit challenge, right? So I did the pre-approval, and the score was below 680. So one of the other things when you're looking at a conventional loan, and if your score is below 700, you're likely going to have to pay a fee at closing. It's called a discount point. And depending on how low your score is, the fee might be quite high. So this client, if he wanted to go under contract that day, he was going to have to pay $8,000 in discount points. Correct. So they, of course, wanted to write an offer. And I had to explain to the client, and then the client had to explain to the agent that they couldn't do a quick close because I did the what if simulator, and it was going to be fairly easy. He had some extra reserves, so he could pay some of these cards down. And we do have a way to do this where it's called a rapid rescore, where we can pay those cards down. You have to get proof of it. It was a real nightmare because he had to get proof of these payments. Then we had to submit the rapid rescore, and we had to wait to get the credit score improved. And I told the client and the agent, this might take 10 business days. If you go, we cannot do a short close. And the agent wanted to make her offer stand out and wanted to do the short close. They couldn't do it. So they had to submit the offer with the longer close. They thankfully actually did get the property, and we were able to do the rescore, but it was a lot of stress because we couldn't start the mortgage application until we had the rescore. And so, the other side is waiting. Why isn't the appraisal ordered? So it's just a bit tricky. So the earlier, the better. If I had, and even the client said, I'm so mad at myself. So it did turn out to be a positive story because he paid the credit cards. We got the new score. He was able to secure an interest rate with no points, and they're closing in a week. So, but it was a fire drill, and definitely lessons learned from everybody. And the real estate agent said, you know what? I'm not going to just let it go like that anymore. I'm going to make sure that they follow up right away. So
one of the things I find, and I think this is very common and understandable, is people have a lot of shame around financial decisions that they've made.
Mm-hmm.
And they think it says something about them, and it doesn't. Listen, get the assistance to fix a situation. People are out there who can help you achieve your goals. You just have to reach out and then follow through. So
yes,
no,
absolutely. I'm always, this is again, I love to hold people's hand through this process. No shame, listen, let's just fix it. You're going to be a homeowner. I'm going to help you. You're going to buy a place. This is not, so yes, so people definitely, credit scores, and that may be a reason why people think that they're not ready to buy. So this is like education. Let's get these people to understand that, okay, so if you're here, we can get you over here. And I've got a great person who can help you, even if it takes a year, but most often the times it doesn't. So,
very similar to our business where, we'll work with people that are like 2 years out even.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Can we talk soft pull versus hard pull on credit?
Yep. So one of the things that I always do, and as Key Mortgage, we have the ability to do this. I cannot speak for other lenders, but when I first talk to a client, I always do what's called a soft pull on their credit. It's not a hard inquiry, so it does not impact their score. It gives me all the information that I need to run a pre-approval. I don't have to do the hard pull until they're ready to make an offer. And as we know, sometimes that's not for 6 months. The credit report would expire by then anyway. And so it's really not necessary. And this is another thing that clients, they're afraid to talk to lenders because they don't want their credit pulled. That's sometimes is a fear. So I never do. And you should, lenders do not have to do that. If they don't have the ability to do a soft pull, I don't know, maybe they're, but we do at Key Mortgage, and I always do this.
What's the difference between a soft pull and a hard pull in terms of the information or the quality of the information that you get?
Nothing. It's literally the same thing. It's literally a credit report with no hard inquiry. So it's and I don't know. I mean, some people may not like to do it because they forget that they haven't done the credit pull. You have to go back and do it. So it's doing a little bit of extra work. I never mind doing extra work if I think it's going to help my client, because the other thing too is once you do the hard pull, you have that score and you're stuck with it unless you do the rescore. And rescores are not always available for every client. They have to be approved. And so it's better to know. It's like being able to preview the person's credit score to be able to help them without the work, because we're not stuck with their score. So let's say the score is not where we want it to be. Now I have all the information. Here's what you need to do. And it takes time, but it's much better to do it that way. So I think one of the things that I would like to emphasize is know your score, because the other thing is a lot of people come to me and they think they know their score because their credit card statement tells them what their score is, their FICO. Unfortunately, that's not very accurate. So they often come to me and they say, okay, this is my score. And I have to tell them, unfortunately, no, it's not. Your score is actually lower. Great. Anne just put that up there.
I did. And then I didn't mean for it to look like that. Let me make it prettier and we'll put it up again.
Okay. All right. So my point is that, first of all, know your real score, not just what the credit card statement is telling you.
Where do you find that?
So Anne's going to put this up there. So there is a website called annualcreditreport.com that every year you are entitled to one free credit report. And this is the real credit report. This is all three bureaus, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, which are the three bureaus.
There.
And there it is, Anne. And so this is something that you guys as agents can even, when you're doing your buyer consultation, you could even ask them or tell them about this. Because this is great for like those people who are really afraid to talk to a lender. They want to know first, right?
Yeah.
So, and I just think this is a great resource, and use it, right? I mean, it's great.
So this is more accurate than like the Credit Karmas out there, right?
This is a real credit report with all three bureaus. Credit Karma, Capital One, your Credit Star card statements, I'm not saying that they're wrong, they're just not very accurate. So oftentimes I'll have somebody come to me that they think their credit is something and it's not. So yeah.
Is this a hard pull or a soft pull?
That's probably a hard pull because you're requesting it yourself. So I don't think it's probably not it's not an inquiry from a creditor. So this is just you getting this is not an inquiry. So when somebody's running your credit, it's called a credit inquiry. It's a hard inquiry, like a mortgage company or a car, if you're buying a car or something like that. But this would be just you requesting your own credit report. So that's not going to drop your score.
Okay. Good to know. But I just wanted people to understand that this is considered in the soft pull kind of inquiry.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Excellent.
So a couple things. So knowing your score early in the buying process. So for you guys as agents, as soon as somebody comes to you and starts talking about buying, they're thinking about buying, blah, blah, blah. This is the time for them to have a mortgage consultation. Even if they say they're not ready, you guys know this already. So it's never too early. And then, as the other thing I kind of wanted to just go back to when we're talking about, improving your score, there's another little trick that some people, they think that it's better to not use credit cards at all. And that's actually, it's not a good thing. So using your credit and people who have maybe gone through a bankruptcy or who have had bad credit in the past, these are the people that kind of get sometimes into this category where they just stop using credit. even if you really need to use your credit card once a month. And I mean, it could be for $5, buy a gallon of milk and then pay your credit card. The next month, buy another gallon of milk, pay your credit card. You need to show consistency of making on-time payments. If you're not using any credit, you're not showing any consistency in making payments. So that's just one other tip that I wanted to add in there about, about credit card use and keeping your score up.
Excellent. Well, this has been a wonderful talk. Thank you so much. One last question.
Yes.
Are you seeing more activity from people doing credit consultations, getting pre-approvals? Because I'm seeing a lot of showings right now.
Yes. Lots of pre-approvals. I've been very, very busy with pre-approvals. I've had lots of clients this weekend in multiple offers, city, suburbs. I'm kind of everywhere. So I'm seeing it. Yeah, I'm seeing it everywhere. I mean, it's very interesting market. I'll say that. So, yep, it's been busy. I think we're all going to have a great year, and I think we're going to help a lot of people become homeowners, which is very exciting. And obviously, turning those renters into buyers is something that you guys are great at, and I've helped both of you do that. And those rents the rents are raising. The rent increases are way worse than the interest rate increases. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
We could do a whole nother show on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Carolyn, thank you so much for spending time with us this early Monday morning.
Absolutely.
And, please give our best to your kids who had to find their way to school in the rain so that you could be with us this morning.
Right.
Yes.
But everyone, thank you for watching Monday Morning with Kyle and Anne. I think this was a really important topic to cover. We look forward to seeing you next week on Monday Morning Coffee with Kyle and Anne on Casimir Pulaski Day. Thanks for watching.